Is there actually any evidence that the Earth is rapidly warming? Can you really trust the dozens of independent research groups around the world that have also shown the temperature of the atmosphere is increasing?
Here's the bottom line. Look, we're the ones that caused the problem.
We must keep going into the streets, and we must keep demanding our leaders to take real climate.
We are facing unprecedented heat waves and floods and fires that have killed tens of thousands of people, and it will only get worse if we do not stop the fossil fuel industry.
Why should we even care about climate change? I mean, most of us can barely make it through the day, either worrying about our next meal, our next exam, the money in our bank accounts, staying healthy and being known and being liked, and even living life. Why should we devote so much time to a problem which seems so distant and overwhelming that it sometimes feels like we cannot do anything about it? In a world brimming with possibilities, there exists a profound challenge that threatens our very existence: climate change. It is a crisis of our own making, born from the choices we have made as a global society. Africa, with its unique ecosystems and diverse cultures, stands at the forefront of this global crisis, bearing witness to rising temperatures, erratic weather patterns, and ecological imbalances that threaten the very fabric of life. We have heard these facts time and time again, but what we fail to recognize is the role that we play in this narrative. Could you, for a moment, imagine that you are a part of this story too? As we journey through this documentary, we will confront the harsh realities and unspoken factors that make climate change such an overwhelming crisis that remains unsolved and worsens with each passing day. We will explore the disconnection, confusion, decisions, and transformative solutions within our grasp. We will seek not only to understand these issues, but to ignite the flame of action, forging a path towards a future where humanity and the natural world coexist in perfect harmony.
Climate, Oga, truly, I don't know what is climate mean.
Climate. I can't guess, but I don't know, serious.
Climate change is basically trying to, improve and enhance the economy.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't understand.
It's so important for us to actually raise awareness about climate change and global warming, because the average person, especially in Nigeria, is very ignorant about it. They feel that it's not going to affect them, or it's not going to affect them in their lifetime. It's something that's happening way, way far away. But the truth is that it's affecting us now.
Well, I grew up on Adeniro Ogunsanya Street in Lagos, and it's unbelievable now, but it was actually the end of Surulere in those days. At the end of Adeniro Ogunsanya, it was a very, very thick mangrove forest through which a stream kind of, undulated. The stream doesn't exist anymore. Whenever I look around, I say, is this what God created this earth for?
My name is Professor Amara Nwuneli, retired professor of mass communication, University of Lagos, and the Igwe of Yobaho in Ayamelem local government in Anambra State. Climate change has impacted on my cultural life and traditional practices. So every year, flood impacts on us that sometimes you have to use canoes to get to your door.
One of the effects of climate change that are felt in our communities is the rising sea levels that are forcing coastal communities to migrate, displacing them from their homes, contaminating their water sources, and thus exacerbating poverty and inequality.
I remember back in the time, my parents were always telling me how, like, for example, at Bar Beach, they'll walk many, many kilometers to get to the water. And now it's literally right at the coastline where people are driving by the road. So that is frightening to me because it tells me that sea levels are rising, and it tells me that coastal communities are at risk. They're being forced to retreat. The sources of livelihood are being impacted. They are being driven into poverty. Their children are lifestyles and livelihoods are being compromised. And this is frightening for all of us because I believe that when one of us is compromised, then we're all compromised.
Our sea levels are rising, our beaches are fast disappearing. People are forced to migrate, and it is scary. We are all here showing up to clean and protect our natural wonders, the beach. And we hope that our voices and actions are heard by the people most in power.
Although the story of change is about recognizing your own power and story as an individual, it is also about the spaces we create and protect. The havens of biodiversity that remind us of the delicate balance of life.
My name is Desmond Majakodemi, electroacoustic engineer turned producer, turned farmer, turned plastic picker. It started just by appreciating nature, by appreciating how wonderful nature can be. And that started as a young child with the cashew tree that was in our compound. And that lovely cashew tree, I'd climb the tree and you'd give all this wonderful fruit. And then later on we'd roast it and make beautiful cashews out of that fruit. And it made me to appreciate that the tree wasn't just something there to look at, that this tree actually gave you wonderful things. Being born and bred in Lagos in those days was a real pleasure because it was a green city. Lagos was green. We had so much green space, parks all over the place, a big green patch where they used to race horses and stuff. And everywhere, trees, 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 and then this wonderful big Ikoyi Park, which was just by the lagoon there, which eventually became the Park View Estate. But the interesting thing is that despite the name, there's no longer any park to view. It's all been converted to a concrete jungle. We take paradise, we put up a parking lot. So having seen, the vital role that the trees play, that the plant life play, I wasn't surprised that we started getting reports of things like flooding, things like erosion, and things like droughts, where there wouldn't be any rain at all. Simply because we have been desecrating the plant life. What you give to nature, she gives you back. And this is exactly what we're experiencing now. I don't take cashew from the mango tree, and I don't take mangoes from the cashew tree. What you sow is what you reap. And we've been sowing this negativity, and nature is now giving it back to us and telling us, humanity, you must change. If you don't change, I will change you. I will remove you. Nature has that capacity. We've had floods, we've had hurricanes come to the shores of various coasts. It was Hurricane Katrina. We knew when she was coming. We knew where she would come. With all our wonderful spacewalking technology, we couldn't slow it down for half a second. We couldn't divert it for half a centimeter.
Climate change is non-linear, and our species rely on the control of the present and tangible moment. But like a wine bottle drunk one too many times, extrapolated to the point of liver failure and death, we have to will our eyes to see climate change through every tree cut down, every food wasted, every plastic thrown away, every greenhouse gas, and every extinction.
I start this for long. It has been a long that I start this, and what makes me start doing all these things just because of lack of work. And when I finish my secondary school, I just sit at home, no work, no more forward. So I just decide to start doing all these things, so that through all these things, I will get what I will use to help myself.
We all this dirty way they put for here, like all this flaxing, aluminium, iron, all this other one where they will go throw it for inside the dustbin, and we will go gather them, then we will go scale, and then we will go see money where we go chop. Like this flaxing ragolis rubber where we pick. You know, say if we not gather around like this, we not come out and it disturb the ground. You go see say some place don't come out. Now we see we go gather around. As we gather around, we go scale them. Some you go see say for one place like this, they will gather dirty, go there. But for that ragolis, we go scatter the dirty, we go come out the ragolis, we go see come out the eye, we go come out the nylon. The sand we go come gather around one place, we go see flat, and I make it see the place be like this.
Solving climate change is a marathon, not a sprint. Without an incentive, there seems to be no hope or motivation for the entire world to jump on this climate activism journey. But what if there was an alternative? What if we leverage our innovative and entrepreneurial spirit to bridge the gap between waste and wealth?
Hi, my name is Bilikis Adebiyi Abiola, and I'm the co-founder of WeCyclers. WeCyclers is a social enterprise that helps people in low-income communities capture value from their trash. We go to people's houses and collect their recyclable waste, and households get points via SMS, which they can then exchange for cash. The waste is then taken to neighborhood hubs, it's processed, and then it's sold to recyclers. I started WeCyclers in 2012, right after graduating from MIT Sloan. I took a class called Development Ventures that taught us about the problems that were faced by people that lived in low-income communities, people that lived in countries like Nigeria. And I was really struck by the issues that people faced around waste and how much waste made people's lives worse. You know, in so many communities where there's a lot of unmanaged waste, you have flooding, you have diseases, you have pollution. And so WeCyclers was created to provide a solution to all those problems. We've generated over 70% of the plastic that has been created. Only about 20% of all plastic that has ever been created has been recycled or incinerated. That means about 80% of plastic that has been generated is somewhere in the world. One of the things that we saw at WeCyclers is that, people say that, why are you thinking about environment? That seems like a rich man's problem. Most of the people that are living in Africa are poor. Think about their survival. But we saw that actually unmanaged waste actually makes people poorer. That is why I'm proud of WeCyclers, because we're able to find a way to help people to empower themselves by cleaning up their community. So people were actually part of the solution. People do not want to engage with you because they're thinking of how can I survive? How can I feed? But if you can help them to connect the dots, they are willing to do that. And then the really interesting thing is that beyond the money, when they see that, look, my community is clean, there's less flood, there's less malaria, people are now even engaged beyond the money because they love the side benefits that come with that.
We are built to not care about global warming, as each change feels distant from us. We are unable to conceptualize things that are psychologically unrelated or abstract. We are more likely to be scared of the imminent danger of poisonous snakes than climate change. Our actions today will shape the world tomorrow, whether we like it or not. But we cannot improve it by just understanding climate change as a concept. We have to empower ourselves by understanding how it truly affects our own lives.
My name is Folashade Adefisayo. I'm an educationist. I've had a long career. I worked in private education, public education, and for the last 3.5 years, I was actually the Commissioner for Education of Lagos State. I will give you a story of a young guy years ago. I cut a tree in school. And of course, we had told them about trees and climate change and all that. And this little boy, in just 1 or 2, came to my office. I was the principal. And he said, "You cut a tree, Mrs. Adefisayo." I had to explain and I had to beg him. So can you see the power of youth? He felt so moved by it, he came to me. I mean, would you go to your principal all of a sudden? But he felt that this is wrong. I need to tell Mrs. Adefisayo it's wrong, you know. And so you can see the power that comes when you know the right thing. Because youth can look ahead and see that they are going to live. This is the world they are going to live in. People like me know it's not the world they're going to live in. It's the world they're going to leave behind. So youth, when they are empowered with knowledge and understanding and appreciate the impact on their lives, they are often able to come up with great solutions. I went somewhere and I said, oh, you are the leaders of tomorrow. She said, no. They are not leaders of tomorrow. They are leaders today. If you don't develop yourself as a leader today, you cannot become a leader tomorrow. So we've got to help them to lead the transformation even.
Although we are born as short-term thinkers who only open the doors that are most profitable and safe, when we become aware of our own faults, there is nothing that can stop us from changing our ways, except for our personal disconnection with the natural world. As inspired, mobilized, and educated as we can be about the climate crisis, if we do not understand just what is at stake and truly love our environment, the climate movement will just be another cause to fight for.
Over the last 20 years, Nigeria has lost over 1 million hectares of our land due to desertification, mass urbanization, destruction of wildlife and their habitat.
We are the custodians of this precious ecosystem, entrusted with the responsibility to preserve them for generations to come.
Every species saved is a victory for our planet, and we need to continue this work and invest more into our land preservation.
This is what I'm doing to live on. Before, I enjoy it very well. But now, when climate change, it's very hard to grow, but we are still managing it. And it's very important for every family to get farm so that it can be managed to stop complaining for the other things.
You're a fast walker.
Yeah, not all the time. Not all the time.
I feel like you can escape when you're just here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forget that. You can't even hear the horns of the car.
I tell you, just a bit of rustling, and then the freshness, because this is a real oxygen center. Absolutely, yeah. We have several animals, but it's just a bit of a rescue place. It's mainly monkeys. A lot of monkeys that were domesticated, and then the people just wanted to get rid of them, and they had to be somewhere. We've tried re-releasing, but they've been so domesticated, it's not working very well. So unfortunately, these poor little creatures are kind of stuck here, although we tend to massively expand the cage area. We call it environment. We call it habitat, which is what it is. But what it really is our life support system. And, can you imagine being on an oxygen tank in an emergency room, and that's what's keeping you alive? And then somebody's negotiating with the oxygen that, no, we need to use this. Well, no, it's your life support system. We need to get that into our consciousness. And then also into the consciousness of ourselves, that we must live in harmony. Like all the other creatures that you see, they're all living in harmony. They all have roles to play, and they don't take more than they need. So we have to suppress that desire to just have too much, especially now that we have huge populations that are burgeoning, and understand that it is our life support system. We're on the brink, we're on the cusp of something that could be really, really bad. But the beautiful silver lining is that all we need to do is just showing a lot more empathy, a lot more care, a lot more love for each other.
The world now is science-oriented, is high-tech oriented. What should be left out?
Agriculture is the backbone of Africa. For regenerative agriculture to actually take a stand within the system, it means we need to start adopting sustainable practices. My vision for the world as we begin to battle climate change is to have that space where everyone feels responsible. From food production to food consumption to waste management, and we consistently and intentionally take that step as an individual and as a community, to create awareness, spread the news, and ultimately reduce carbon emissions into the atmosphere.
My dream is for countries in Africa to create products out of this waste. We can actually locally recycle our products and have a circular economy locally in Africa. Each and every one of us taking and understanding how powerful we are and taking a step.
The last step to rising in strength during the heat of change is to believe in your own might. Believing in your power is investing in the change you can make and believing the things that you can do make a difference. This is your story too, our story, and a tale we have to choose to write ourselves. There are people all around the world who dream of a brighter future, but are stifled by the harsh realities of climate change. Every decision we make contributes to this unfolding tale. As the climate changes, so do the lives of countless individuals. Farmers, fishermen, teachers, doctors, artists, and families. Each has a story and a history etched onto our planet. An understanding that the fates of our planet is intertwined with our own. It's not just about saving it. It's about preserving a future where our children can thrive, where the wonders of nature continue to inspire and awe, and where the stories we tell are ones of courage and unity. So let us embark on this journey together, armed with the knowledge that our choices, no matter how small, can spark a wave of change. Let us embrace this truth, that in every whisper, in every tear, and in every protest cry lies the power to shape the destiny of our planet.